He will definitely call after this. How do you get a man to want to call or text you? How can you influence him with mind power? Hi, I'm Lisa Politova, and you are simply on the best YouTube channel on the topic of wish fulfillment with mind power. Today, I will show you 4 powerful techniques that will make your man definitely call you. Girls, you have to agree that it's very important for us to have a man make the first step, so we could keep the royal pride and the feeling that we are being chased. And it doesn't matter whether it's the first awkward call after a casual meeting, a first date proposal, or a move after a serious fight, or even a breakup. We want a man to be active and pay attention. What to do if a man hasn't spoken to you in a while? If he's insulted, he avoids you, or doesn't even think about you? Does it sound familiar? Then like this video and make sure to watch all the way through. I once made a video called How to Make a Man Call You First. And this video got insanely popular. Of course, I've never doubted the effectiveness of these techniques because I and my many students used them. However, I was recently reading through the comments on this video and was surprised by the volume of positive feedback. I'm insanely happy that you, my dears, are able to make your dreams come true. This means that you have learned at least a little bit how to control your mind, how to use its power and the law of attraction to improve your life. Here's what the girls who have already tried the techniques and got the long-awaited calls or texts from their lovers wrote. I am immensely grateful. I watched the video today and 3 hours later the right man called me back. I'm so happy. Practice works 100%. I have already tested it several times. I got the result the same day. I know that it works and still am surprised. The coolest thing is that you can influence the desire and thoughts of a man and encourage him to take action, even if you had a fight, haven't talked, or even have broken up. Listen to what the girls say. My lover had been missing for a month and a half and he contacted me a few hours later. A miracle. The main point is that it worked. It worked for me after 4 days. We hadn't talked in 7 months before that. And how surprised was the girl when she received a phone call from the man she liked, but who she never talked to before. Thank you, I'm shocked. He called, watched a few more of your videos, and then the right man called me. The dialogue began exactly as I had planned. Given that the man had never called me, it had been about 30-40 minutes since I watched this video, I'm still in shock since I never imagined it would actually work. It works, even if it seems that all is lost and there is no way to fix the situation. Girls, I couldn't forget him for 6 years. All contacts were lost. I watched the video, did the practice. A week later, a call from him. I almost fell off the chair. He was looking for my number all week with the help of old acquaintances and found it. I happened to come across your video last night before going to bed, watched it and did exactly what you said. I imagined how he was thinking about me. Thought about what he would say, how I looked at the phone, answered it. And this afternoon I looked at my ringing phone and couldn't believe my eyes. He has called me. I'm shocked. Thank you, it really works. While reading my subscribers' stories, I was inspired and I decided to make this video. Right now, we will repeat these 4 miracle techniques, and I will answer the most common questions about influencing the thoughts and actions of other people. I will finally clarify whether or not it is possible to influence a man and how mind power can be legitimately used to make him call or text. These questions really worry a lot of people, and I will also explain the intricacies of the law of attraction in love and give some valuable advice on how to make him definitely call. And in the end, there will be some valuable information for you. So the first technique that will make your man definitely call. You will need a piece of paper, a pen, and some imagination to do it. Write the text you want to hear or get in a message from your man on a piece of paper. Write it as if he was the one saying it over the phone. For example, "Hi honey, I can't stop thinking about you. Let's meet up." And what I did, I wrote down the text that I wanted to hear from him. And then I imagined how our dialogue would be built. That is, I was ready for it. I didn't think that he was unlikely to call at all. I had the right thoughts. I had thoughts that, yes, in general, there's nothing that might promise his call, but I want him to call. I want him to say it. I wrote down what exactly I wanted to hear from him on a piece of paper. Then I imagined his voice and manner of speaking, how he called me, how I could see his name on my phone screen, just as it is in my contacts. I pick up the phone and I hear him say, "Hi, how are you?" in his own manner. It all worked. The man called a few days later, and this simple technique has worked 1,000 times, not only for me. My students are still amazed that it is possible to get such a desired call with no effort. Someone says that the man spoke phrases exactly as in the note. Someone says that his words were similar. And in some cases, the man said something so unexpectedly pleasant that the girls could not even imagine it. Here's one of the subscribers' feedback. I used the method with a piece of paper. I wrote a sample dialogue. I wanted him to set up a meeting and say that he really missed me. In the end, the guy called all evening. We talked a lot, he asked me out and constantly talked about how much he missed me. Thank you so much. Your state of mind is very important for the success of this technique. Imagine the man saying the text you wrote. Convince yourself that this is what has happened and try to put aside doubts and negative thoughts like he won't call because he doesn't love me, he doesn't need me, he's not interested. Think exactly the opposite. He needs you, he misses you, loves you, and longs for you. So have you written the text that you want to hear from your sweetheart? By the way, here's a very interesting question regarding the technique. The girl asks, "And once you've written down what he says on a piece of paper, what do you do with it?" Usually in such cases, I recommend just putting the piece of paper in some remote drawer. You don't need to burn it, you don't need to tear it, you don't need to constantly look at it, just put it aside. Once you get the call, you'll be able to see how your intention came true very clearly. Generally speaking, a call or a text is only the first step on the way to creating a strong love connection. I noticed a lot of similar questions among the many comments under the video. Here is one of them. What if he's not mine anymore? We broke up 3 months ago and he was the one who left. Will this work? I'm desperate. I love him. Another question. Hello, I'd like to ask you if it's possible to return the guy using mind power if he's already with another girl. Many girls wonder what to do if you've broken up with your sweetheart. How to get him back with your mind power, how to restore your relationship. To find out the way to do it, come to my free masterclass. And we move on to technique number 2. The second technique is based on mind reprogramming. Right now you're focused on the fact that he is not calling, constantly going over and over the idea of why he's missing. Your job is to trick the subconscious mind and plant the seeds of the right beliefs in it. If you've got a second phone, take it. If not, ask for a friend's phone. Simply name your or a friend's phone number with the name of the man you want to attract. And send a few messages as if on his behalf, or call your phone. When the phone rings and the lover's name appears on the screen, focus on your feelings and remember them. Take a screenshot and use it to visualize this situation. This may sound silly, but it works. The girls got their calls a couple of days later, and they've got texts similar to what they wrote. In other words, men contacted them. It was surprising in some cases because before that person didn't text at all, didn't call. So it works. It turns out that you trick your mind. But that's what mind power is. Mind power is not deception. It's the correct tuning of your mind, the proper alignment of your thought patterns so that they influence reality. And it all works. You just have to give it a try. It will work for you too. As a rule, after this technique, men get in touch literally the next day. But I have noticed a lot of questions on what to do if he doesn't have your number. Here's one of the questions. And if the guy I like doesn't have my phone number, will this technique work? My dear girls, I recommend having accounts on social networks so that your man can always find you. Give your profiles your name and surname, your correct age, post your photos, then the right man, even if he doesn't know your number, will find you on Instagram, Facebook, or anywhere else, and then he will definitely message you. Another question about whether or not it is worth trying attracting a man and getting him to call. Here is what the girl writes. I have a question. There's a theory that you have surely heard that says you should quit putting your energy into this man and be busy with yourself. not think about him or even switch to other men. How would you respond to this? What is primary? Of course, you have to focus on yourself. Of course, you have to love and put energy into yourself. But how does this relate to techniques for attracting a call? One doesn't contradict the other. And now the third way to encourage a specific person to take action. This time, it's manifesting a message. And here's what my subscriber writes. I'm shocked. I drew Facebook. The next day, he messaged me. Thank you so much. You made me happy again. It worked. So all you need to do is take a piece of paper and draw a messenger window, or the social network that you use most often. WhatsApp, Snapchat, Facebook, and so on. Draw a box, write the author of the message, and write the words that you would like to get. There was a case one of the subscribers told me that she wrote a text message, that is, she drew a picture, and that same evening, that person sent her that exact message. She was shocked as it all worked. It's the right tuning of our mind. And now I want to answer the question of the girl who did this technique. The technique where you have to draw an image only worked the first time. The second time, no. I did everything you said. He texted me on WhatsApp when I wanted to go to bed. Yes, he texted, but not exactly as I had hoped, but I was still extremely happy. It didn't work the second time. Why did it almost work the first time and so quickly, but not the second? Actually, in all of these techniques, it is your mind power that works. If you start a technique and at the same time you think that it won't work, that the man doesn't love you, then of course, nothing will work. In fact, this technique simply helps you to believe. And all the power is not really in the papers, not in the drawings, not in the techniques, but in your thoughts. And finally, the fourth way to get a man to call. It's telepathy. Don't be surprised, transmitting thoughts from a distance is a completely natural human ability. It's just that some people can do it a little less and some a little more. But you should know that you're a telepath by birth and can influence people telepathically. You probably noticed that the person you are thinking of suddenly appears in your life, knocks on the door, or runs into you on the street. Or maybe you can foresee calls from parents, friends. This is a very valuable skill that helps to build relationships and improve life. The telepathic technique has worked out very well for those who have practiced it. Here is one of the comments. Astonishing, we haven't talked for a month. Yesterday I sent him a message to the forehead. I got up in the morning, there was a message from him. There were no reasons for his appearance at all. Girls, Lisa, I'm shocked it was so fast. And here's another story about telepathy in love relationships. Telepathy truly works. Of course not on anyone, as some here have given the examples of celebrities, but on someone you know well. I didn't believe it at all, but in desperation, I looked at the guy's photo and sent him a telepathic thought to text me in an approximate sentence. And the very next day it happened, despite the fact that he hadn't texted me in 4 months and he had even closed his profile. Then all of a sudden he was the first to write almost exactly the same text that I had mentally sent him, and even asked me out. Telepathy exists. Be careful what you think. So let's go back to the technique. You need a photo of the person you want to receive a call or a text from. By the way, a subscriber asks, is a paper photo necessary, or can I use one from my phone? Of course, you can take a photo from your phone, any photo. Now look at this photo. Focus on his face. Imagine his face from the photo coming to life as if it were materialized. Focus on the process of bringing his face to life and creating a kind of phantom, and hold the focus for about 2 minutes. Next, direct the thought from the center of your forehead to the center of his forehead. This may sound very strange and difficult, and it's just what one of the girls had a question about. Should I send a thought to the center of the forehead while looking at the photo or at the imaginary phantom? This is a strange question because the phantom is materialized precisely when you're looking at the photo. Yes, you can close your eyes and still see the phantom with your inner vision without looking at the photo. It makes no difference. What's important is that you're focused on the center of the forehead, whether you're looking at the photo or at the phantom with your eyes closed. Of course, it will be brighter if you look at the photo. That is, the photo came to life, and you're looking at the photo that came to life at the center of the man's forehead. The thought that you are directing should be phrased from the man's position. That is not from your own, like, you want to call my number, you're calling me. not as a command, but formulate the thought as if the man himself thinks so. For example, I wonder how Jane is doing, or I should text Alice and ask her out. I haven't seen her for a while. And you send the specific thought to the man's center of his forehead. You send this specific thought to him, and this man, you will see for yourself. After some time, he will contact you. And perhaps he will even ask you the same thing that you sent him in your message. There was another question concerning this technique. How long do you need to send thoughts to another person, and how many times a day can you do this? Actually, this is exactly the same as with any dream manifestation practice. It can be done several times to make sure that it will definitely work. But sometimes it works for some people after one time. I would recommend doing 3 sets in one day or in 2 days, and then just relax. Let the situation go and wait for the result. If a week passes and nothing happens, repeat it, do the same thing. Be sure to do it easily, without stress, and playfully. Is it possible to practice telepathy at close distances when the person is close by? One of the subscribers writes, will these techniques work if you see him within 2 meters of you? Can you also send him a thought to come up and say hello and ask some questions? Of course you can, even you should. The only thing is that you cannot be relaxed enough when he's around. If you're in love, you're nervous, your heart rate is high, and maybe this will interfere with the practice. So it is better to do all the practices at home in complete tranquility. This way the result is guaranteed. So let's summarize. If you want to get a specific man to act, to make him want to take the initiative, call, ask you out, make up to you first. You have 4 great, simple, and most importantly, working techniques. Use them, my dears, and be grateful to the universe for the manifestation of your dreams. And would you like to know how you can restart your relationship with a man? You can easily do it, and I invite you to join my free masterclass, where I'll tell you about how you can improve your love relationship using mind power and the law of attraction. I will show you how by changing your mind and your perception, you can influence the universe, and you can not just return the man, but restart your love relationship with him. Sign up for my free online masterclass by clicking here in the upper right corner. You can also find the link in the video description. I give you a few seconds to grab your ticket. Subscribe to my channel and click the bell to be the first to learn about new techniques for manifestation of love wishes. And may all of your love wishes come true.